Good morning and welcome to our next expert interview with Thomas Engelmaier. Thomas is the corporate head of project management at Zeta, and we worked very closely together a few years ago on one project for Asia. That gave me a glimpse into the world of project management, something I had not experienced before. What's also a lot of people may not know about Thomas is that he is a watch aficionado. And we've spent many an hour talking about time and watches. So Thomas, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Susan. Thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thomas, before we start with what you've got for us today, I wanted to ask you, what watch are you wearing today?
You know, it's a funny question because I really was thinking about it yesterday. Which watch should I wear when I talk to you? Today I'm wearing an Omega Speedmaster, the official moon watch. So
fantastic. Very good.
Perfect for today.
Can we have a look at what you've got for us today?
I have brought you an old instrument, kind of instrument. It is a compass. It was a gift from my girlfriend a couple of years ago, and normally it sits on my desk in the office and helps me to navigate out of trouble or problems. No, just kidding. So first of all, it reminds me that it is very hard to concentrate on very important things, to really keep track of the things you would like to dig into. We live in a very modern, fast world, so it is very hard to keep track. So therefore, a compass is quite a good instrument and a good example because a compass is very easy physics, so it always points you in the right direction. And you also outlined already, so we spent a couple of years ago some time in Korea together. And so in our job as project managers, we need to travel a lot. And these travels are not always just fun. They are also very exhausting and difficult in sometimes. So it's very good to know that you have an instrument with you that helps you to find your way back home.
You know, I'm not so good with directions, so the next time I get lost, I may ask for
it. When I'm in the workshop holding this compass, I'm completely overloaded maybe. I just would like to go home.
So, Thomas, I'd like to start off from your experience and your background. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of your professional and educational background?
Yeah, so originally I came from a very countryside region, 80 kilometers north of here, and I came to Graz in 2007 in order to study business and economics here in Graz. At the same time, I started working into automotive industry, and I stayed in automotive industry for almost 8 years. First, I started in testing and validation, which was a very good starting point for getting into the industry, learn about what is going on in projects, in product development, and later I switched to project management. I worked then as a contract manager and a change manager, and I did a lot of projects around the globe. And in 2015, I received a very interesting offer from a company named Zeta, and I decided to join, and since then I'm here at Zeta. At Zeta, I started also working in contract management, so in the projects, and I became very quick a project manager, which was very hard for me at the beginning because there is a lot of tension and the focus is on you as a project manager because you are the one who is responsible in order to delivering the project to the client and also, deliver some good results for Zeta, but first of all for the client for sure. And it worked out not too bad. So after some successful projects, I became corporate head of project management, and this was now 3 years ago. And to be honest, I think it's quite a good match because I already spent a lot of time during my studies talking and learning about project management, interaction of people, process management, and all these dynamics within a team.
So it's interesting, Thomas, that you've firstly had exposure across industries, automotive and life sciences, but also that at Zeta you started off as a project manager and then you grew to head of project management. So I'm assuming there are different responsibilities as a project manager where you're directly engaged on projects and as the head of project management where you have a larger team. Can you talk a little bit about your team and...
So this is exactly what you mentioned. So it is now very complicated and difficult because we have a very huge team. We're approximately 80 people, which are related to my team doing project management around the globe. We are located mostly here in Austria, but we also have very big teams also in Germany, in Czech. We have people located in the United States, so at all our subsidiaries. So this is something which is growing very fast and needs a lot of attention by myself in order to have the right people on the right locations doing the right activities. And this is a bit now my responsibility. And compared to that, as a project manager, I was used to, have this small little baby called my project where I'm fully responsible and dealing with all the interactions you need to do during this project execution.
Right. So, Thomas, at the beginning, I mentioned about, how I got an exposure to the world of project management. And for me, it was absolutely fascinating to see the scope and complexity of the projects we execute. So you've had a lot of experience now within Zeta and even outside on large-scale complex projects. Can you talk a little bit about some of the challenges and problems you've seen working on projects?
Yeah. So, first of all, our vision here at Zeta is bringing really the products faster to the market. Time is always key in pharmaceutical industry. You would like to get your product produced very, very soon in order to get it on the market and helping the patients around the globe. For us, this is related to a lot of complexity in doing the management of these projects, because what we do is always this handling of this complexity. It is not just, building a skid and ship it to a plant around the globe. So when you kick off a project at the beginning, we are facing a lot of uncertainties in the project. It could be that we have moving targets in regards of specifications. What should the equipment be able to do? We also need to manage a lot of complexity in relation to other disciplines. Now at Zeta, we are also talking about HVAC, we are talking about CSA, we are talking about clean room, sustainability. These are so many disciplines and function related to that. This brings a lot of complexity into our field of project management, and this is what we would like to overcome with proper people and proper processes in place. So this is more or less the challenge. So always time to market is key, and we need to find the baseline and the common ground for all the involved disciplines together with the client in order to have a proper setup and really kick it off. And then it is really a tough job. It's easily said, but it's a tough one. Just, to execute the project, to run it day by day and then overcome all the issues and problems which pop up. And we had it also in our past when we had the time in Asia. They pop up on a daily basis and you just need to deal with it somehow.
I do remember that, and I was very impressed with how you handled, the changing conditions every day. It was really impressive for me.
Yeah.
You've spoken about the complexity of managing projects, but I'm sure Zeta has an approach, tools, resources we can use to help us manage complexity for customers. So can you talk a little bit about the Zeta approach?
Yeah. I would like to divide this a bit into two pieces. First of all, we're talking always about the people, and we need to bring in the right people, the trained and educated people to the right projects. We need to find a way how we could set up a project team which is suitable doing the job, where also the client knows for sure this will work out, no issues are coming up. So this is something we really try to focus on, to have really a good mixture and really know which people are able to do which activities in the project. And then for sure we also need to have processes and tools, because the volume is very different from project to project, but they can get huge, etc. And then you just need to have a proper tool landscape in order to really be able to do it. And we have a very good foundation, which is very scalable, so scalable process, where we have really an integrated way and integrated systems, how we can really keep track on the project. And this is also something we can show the client, and we would like to build trust together with the client, so that we can say, listen, we are on track, or we have a deviation here and there, and we have mitigations in place. So this is something what we do at Zeta, and for sure everything is digital and web based. So this is very supportive to an acting team for sure.
I guess the feeling of successfully completing a project where the customer is happy and the Zeta management is also happy is really a unique experience.
It's very good, yeah. So, then it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, Thomas, can you talk then about, what are the benefits customers see from the Zeta approach and the Zeta philosophy?
I think what is very important for the clients nowadays, they need to have a certain level of trust to Zeta or to every company they are working with. Yeah. We have limited timelines, we have limited budgets, and it is very important that the client has really the level of trust to say, okay, Zeta can do the job. And this is something we also build not only in the technical disciplines, but also in the field of management. When we say, listen, we have, for example, we should have this stage in the project. We are currently here. We have a deviation and we have a fully transparent approach at Zeta. We can do whatever the client is asking us and we can always deliver a level of transparency.
I think, for me, it's really great when I see customers who come back after a project and they come back to Zeta for further business, because that shows that we have successfully managed their expectations during the project. I'd like to now shift focus, Thomas, and talk about the industry. So based on the years you've spent at Zeta and the exposure you've had to the industry, can you talk a little bit about where you see the future of the biopharma industry and also specifically project management within this space?
In the last 15 or 20 years, it always was getting faster and faster and faster. And I do not really see this to stop. So in future, for sure, the timelines will be very tight. This will bring a lot of complexity into the field of project management. The need for our products and the products from the clients on the market will increase for sure. So, we have global mega trends we are facing right now, so this will not stop. And I think what will happen in the future is that we have more support from AI, so artificial intelligence. When we think probably on the field of planning a project, when you do a schedule, it is very complicated. You need to talk to a lot of different disciplines, a lot of different people, other vendors. And maybe this is something where in future artificial intelligence can help us in order to build up a proper schedule within given parameters. And maybe this is also a possibility for project execution planning. When you think about how we can do it, how is it possible to build this facility within 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? This is a lot of brain work which is going into these discussions. And I see here really a huge benefit coming up with artificial intelligence within the next years. And this will be the key in order to deliver even faster and meeting really the client needs on the market. And what I also see is that we will have we'll have a bigger and a stronger interlink between different management methods. When we talk about stage gate, because we're a bit old school skid builder, but we are also in an agile world. And already now at Zeta, we are combining these methods to have really the best solution for us, for our products, for our clients. And there will be for sure a bigger interlink between these topics.
So there's a lot of interplay between the hardware, the physical aspect, and the software. Like you said, AI, which honestly I never considered AI to be used in that form. So that's really interesting, and I'm very curious to see how the next few years will develop for Zeta.
I think we need to learn how to think about these things. So I think it can support everywhere, and we just need maybe ask AI, can you do it? And maybe AI will tell us.
Yes, we ask chatbot, can you build a skid for us?
Yes, or at least to have a proper planning for it, and we just execute it. Right. Maybe this is the future. I think it will be the future, and maybe it is not 25 years. Maybe this is something we see in the next 2 to 8 years.
Fantastic. Thomas, thank you very much for this interesting conversation. Would you be open to answering a few personal questions as well?
For sure.
Hello, Thomas. Are you ready to answer 10 more questions?
Yes, I am.
Great. Let's start. Indian curry or Wiener Schnitzel?
Wiener Schnitzel, I would say.
Sailing or motorboat?
Very easy, sailing.
What qualities does a skilled project manager need?
You need to be good with people. You need to be willing to learn and very open-minded, and maybe much more.
Golf or tennis?
This is difficult. Better at tennis, but more into golf currently.
What's your secret advice to deal with stress?
You need to find a good balance between work life and private life, and probably do some sports.
What do you always carry with you?
My mobile, I would say.
Holiday in Canada or the Caribbean?
I'm more the beach guy, so Caribbean.
What was the most important day in your life and why?
I can't say, there have been so many.
Rock or electric house?
House.
What item would you take with you to a desert island?
Maybe a sailing boat would be a clever idea.
Thank you very much, Thomas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Thomas, and we look forward to seeing you again on the next expert interview.